Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host Maxine and we're on episode 91. Okay, let's do a little Church Bay update. We're still good. I know y'all probably listening like this bitch. What'd you do now? Whenever I give an update, it's always negative, right? Well, not negative. The ending of something doesn't have to be a negative, but no, we're not end. Me and Judge Bay are still going strong, and I still feel great about him and our relationship. Our budding relationship. But I do want to talk about moments in our communication style, in our just dating environment. I feel like, there have been moments when and I don't want to only put it on me, but I am so self-reflective that I know sometimes it's me who's the problem, right? But I do want to talk about how we conflict with each other and how we resolve with each other. And I just have to give so much credit to him because for someone to be so for me, I've described myself as, and I am, and others will describe me as well as solution oriented. I am someone who likes to keep it. Oh my gosh, I forgot to click the record button. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm using the camera. Church Bay gifted me. So yes, that's what I'm using for now. Well, for my video recording. So this is exciting. But anyway, as I was saying, I describe myself as someone who is solution oriented. Okay, I like to find the answer, the solution. How can we fix it? Let's move on. But I am more solution oriented when it comes to my professional life, when it comes to my passion projects, when it comes to stuff like that. If I need an answer to something, I find it. I don't just sit in curiosity and feeling stumped. As much as I am curious, I always seek for answers, whether it's through somebody or through my own research. I like to find solutions, okay? Yet, I don't bleed that into my relationship with Church Bay for some reason. And when I think about other dating partners I've had, I don't do the same thing. I didn't do the same thing with them either. I was so focused on, well, you don't hear what I'm saying. You're not budging for me. You're not meeting me where I need to be met. Okay, so it's over. So it's done, right? I'm just going to go up and leave, walk out and not come back. And that's the answer. That's a solution, right? And sometimes that could be. Sometimes you don't need to go back and forth with somebody. You just know that this is not the person for you and move on. That's it. But that sometimes could be an excuse and just the easy way out instead of finding a solution, instead of communicating. It's so much easier to just leave you on red, ghost you. And I am queen of that. And I have been the queen of that for a while. And I'm just, I'm letting down my crown and giving it to somebody else. Someone else could take that crown. I don't want it anymore because I am cultivating a healthy relationship. So although I am solution oriented in other aspects of my life, as far as my personal dating romantic life, I don't allow that solution oriented Maxine to shine. Instead, I allow my fear of abandonment, my fear of being de-attached to someone pulling away from me. I let that resonate so heavily that I'm so quick to be upset, be flustered, and think of the worst thoughts. So that's just a little precursor to what I'm about to say. So, okay. Being that, just to give some more context to anyone who is not too familiar with Church Bay lives in Boston. I'm here in Houston, and me and him have been communicating since January, the top of the year. And the two times that I've broke up with him, kind of, because we're not boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but we're exclusively dating each other, if that makes sense to anybody. But The two times that I've like let him go, the two times that we've broken up has been because of me. Not because I did something wrong, right? I mean, maybe I did do something wrong, but like because I've been the one saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done, right? And y'all know this because I've kept a record of it. If you go back to previous episodes, you'll hear the journey of that. And it's so fucked up. But you know what makes me say that is so fucked up? Because I think of the song by Monica, breaks my heart. Baby, it breaks my so when you just listen to the lyrics to the song, that's me, okay? To think of loving me is not easy to do. It's not like he said loving me is not easy to do. So I do appreciate that. But he had, like, I'm sure it's not easy, right? Because we've had different moments when I know I haven't been the easy one. I know I am quick to accuse, quick to leave, quick to quit. And that's not easy to love. You know, who wants to love somebody? Who wants to fall in love with somebody who is so quick to give up on you and you're trying your best? Or, you know, yes, you may have made a mistake in your communication style, but that mistake is not warranted enough for you to be left, right? And so I don't give enough of leeway because I look at it as if I'm giving you leeway, I'm giving you space to fuck up my heart, right? I'm giving you space to break my heart. I'm giving you space to hurt me. And no, you're not going to get that space. No, you're not going to have that power over me. So you know what? I'm going to leave you and I'm going to ghost you. I'm going to leave you on red. And then we're not going to talk for a few weeks or a few months. And I'm going to come back to my senses and realize, oh my gosh, you're really a great guy. I really want this to work. And then, you know, I did that twice with him. And I feel like, thank God he likes me. That nigga, you know, I'm grateful, but I got one more fuck up. That's really what that's what I tell myself. Like, mama, stop. I got one more fuck up. It's not even fuck up, but it's just like I have one more time to do that bullshit again, to suddenly ghost him or tell him it's not gonna work out. You know, if you guys can remember the last time I said that to him, and we stopped talking like end of April, I would say. And then I reached out to him early August. So that chunk of time in between, we were not communicating because I ended it end of April. And if you guys can remember, I ended it because I didn't like his mindset when we were just discussing something, and I didn't like his mindset because I was saying I'm so solution oriented. I have solutions to everything, right? If you want to lose weight, if you want to eat a healthier lifestyle, or if you want to X, Y, and Z, like, okay, find the answers. You know, okay, do your research, okay, commit to it, no excuses, right? And yet, when we were communicating about different topics, he always seemed to have an excuse. He always brought up the negative, the obstacle, and it just felt so overwhelming. Like, I don't want people thinking who always got an excuse for why he can't do this, why he can't do that. He has since changed. I have seen a growth in that with him, so I'm grateful that is different now. But then I didn't like it, and even though, yeah, that may be a good reason to leave someone, maybe, but because he has so many of the other characteristics that I need and desire and would like in a partner, that wasn't good enough for me to leave him, you know? But yet I did because I was still operating off of fear. And so, yeah, so I left him. I was like, you know, it's not going to work out. And I did a whole excuse thing about the 4-year difference. And I was letting myself be overwhelmed with that fact when it's not really a big deal. You know, like I said in the previous episode, you know, age is nothing but a number. I mean, it's a number. Don't get me wrong. I'm not at all advocating for pedophiles. But what I'm saying is when you are with an adult, right? You are the adult as well. You know, you're in a consensual relationship. Let's make that very clear. Age shouldn't be much of a factor. It's just, okay, it's there, but how much is it of how much is it of a deterrent within the relationship? Despite the age gap, how much is it in the way? You know, does he have other characteristics? Does your partner have other characteristics that you desire? And you're letting this little age gap, 4-year age gap, to wreck that up. I remember talking to my waxer. Okay, I go to European Wax Center. I'm not saying their name until they sponsor me. But I go to them. This lady who I go to, she's great. I really like her service. So she's my consistent waxer. And we always talk about like love life, the world, politics. Like we talk about everything. Like, bitch, just wax my vagina. I don't know why I gotta tell you about what I don't like about Biden, but go ahead. Like, it does pass the time, but it does make me feel like just one day I just want you to be quiet and strip that hot wax off my lips. Okay? Off my vagina lips. But anyway, we were talking about my dating life, and I was telling her how I just rekindled with Church Bay, and I was feeling happy about it, and I was like thinking about how, you know, about the reason why I ended it in the first place. And I explained to her the age difference. She's like, oh, so what is it? I said, 4 years. And she's like, girl, what? She's not, I'm saying, girl, what? Like, I'm saying in my own voice, but she's not black. But she dismissed it because it's like, girl, what? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Her boyfriend actually is a 3-year difference. So it's just not that serious. I think we sometimes as women, we get so fixated on the look of a man, the package of a man. And if he doesn't fit this particular look, then he could never, ever be my husband. He could never, ever be the partner for me. Like, nope, this is not the answer to my prayer, God. Try again. When, girl, what? Right? Like, that's literally the response you should be giving yourself. Girl, what? Like, I don't think that's serious, right? He has literally checks off everything off the list. Handsome, fine, the correct height for me. He's not no fee, fi, fo, fum nigga, and he's not a midget, right? He's a right height for me, and yet I'm allowing this little four-year difference to be a deterrent for us. It's really, girl, what? So anyway, I was operating off of a space of fear when I ended things initially, and I'm so glad now that we are back together, back like it never ended. And that's what I could appreciate about him. He knows how to move on. Like, he knows how to move forward. He knows how to get on with the damn show. As for me, I'm still at the credits. How come my name was at the credits? How come it didn't say created by Maxi Morenzi? Yet he's already on episode 2. I hope I'm making sense to somebody, but you know what I mean? Like, the show is moving on, but yet I'm still on the pilot, yet he's moving on to the last episode of the season. And so when I sit back and I notice his ways, right? It's inspiring. Like, damn, I want to be better. Like, get you a man that makes you want to be better just for yourself, just on principle. Like, I want to be better so I could be better, right? Period. And so I could be better for him. So I could be, I hate this saying, but so I could be his peace. So I could present peace more than conflict. And he has to, like, we've had, a conversation recently. I asked him, to kind of lay it down to me, like how he feels about me. And he has said that I bring more peace to him, and he's so appreciative of me in his life. And like, everything is clear, but I just sit back and, maybe I'm hard on myself, but I'm so self-reflective. And so I realize when I am not operating in my best self, let's say that, not operating in my higher self. And so when he is, I'm just like, damn, I need to be better. I need to do better. I need to communicate better. I need to let this go. Like, am I saying this out of fear, or am I saying this because it's the reality of what's happening? So anyway, so he's in Boston, like I was saying, and I'm here in Houston. And He is a musician. He plays for different church services. He has his own home church, but he goes around and plays for different events. He's that good, and he loves doing that. That's a passion of his, and he has other passion projects that he is passionate about. And so I love that, right? I love that about him. I like a man to have shit going on, right? I don't want to come home from work after teaching these damn kids and then you over here with your boxes on. Sir, where's the milk? Did you get the milk for today? Like, did you get the almond milk like I said? Like, I don't want my man to be lazy. And he's not that at all. And it's not just that, because it's one thing to have a 9 to 5. That's what he has. He does have a 9 to 5. But it's another thing to have a 9 to 5 and to have an investment into something that really fuels your soul. I love that even more, because, some people may be content with just a 9 to 5 and just sit back and, okay, I had a long day at work and I just want to smoke. I just want to drink something. And okay, cool. Some folks are fine with that. As for me, that's not really my thing. I have a 9 to 5 as well, but my passion project is my podcast. I'm passionate about my podcast. I'm passionate about reading. I'm passionate about starting content around the books that I read and just thinking about things like that. Like, I'm passionate about content creation, and that's something that I just really am so excited about. I'm passionate about cooking and videos that I make about cooking, and I appreciate everyone who watches it and leaves a nice comment and is entertained by it. All of that gets me going. So it's not just a 9 to 5, but it's the things that I put my passion into that fuels me even more. And to see that into Church Bay, it's something to me. Like, we match on that level. It takes a lot of what is it like? It's a lot of self reflection, self retrospection that you need to have for you to recognize, hey, these are the fruits of my labor. I created this song note. I created this song. I put together musical things. I don't know what musicians do, but the point is, I know there's a passion behind it. I know he loves doing. I know it makes him happy. It creates joy in his life, and that's so amazing to see. So I like seeing that, and I like that he's committed to that. And there's something to having ambition. I think is so encouraged to congratulate those who, you graduated from this graduate program, you completed this degree, another degree, now you're in this graduate program, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, and all that is great. Yet there's something to creating your own stuff, right? Oh, you started your own business. You created this new app. I don't know. You're doing something that just fuels you. There's something to that I love. So seeing that he has that for himself brings me joy. It brings me joy to see him have joy in his life on something that he loves doing on his own, right? So all that is great. But the thing is, ain't no but, I'm not saying what the thing is, I gotta find a problem. I have to find a problem. Hello? Is there a problem? Yes, right there. I found it. Okay. So the problem is, and I want to say it's a problem because, like I said, everything that I said previous to what I'm saying now is still fact, right? I know when you say the word but, it eradicates everything that you said previously. That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is right now, sometimes our communication isn't as much as I want it to be. And that still is a problem for me, right? Because I'm operating sometimes from a space of fear, from a space of trauma, I feel like, oh, if he's not responding to me timely, if he's not texting me first, if he didn't hit my FaceTime, tonight, oh my gosh, it's falling apart. What we are is falling apart. Everything is falling down. Oh no, mayhem, mayhem. That's literally what I think, y'all. And it's like, bitch, relax, girl, what? Like, but it's so much easier to say that, when you're the one listening, right? When you're the outsider listening to this story. But when you're in my head, when you're in my mental space, there is some constant talking down to that I need to do to those voices, to those thoughts that continue to peek its head whenever I am feeling insecure, whenever I'm remembering moments in my childhood when I was abandoned emotionally. I feel like, oh my gosh, what if it happens again? What if, just what if? And so, me and him, and the funny thing about it is, me and Church Bay, we have great communication. Like, I can't ask for better, even though I am, right? But I can't ask for better. And I think about, and I want to say consistently, but sometimes I do think about other niggas who I've given time to. Let's just say that. Other niggas who I've given time to, and their communication, you would think like, oh, this nigga really fell off the face of the earth. Like, this nigga is really gone. He must have went to space. He must have signed to the next aircraft project up to the moon. I've never heard from them until next week, until 2 weeks from now, or until 6 days from now. And it's like, we had a great date, or we had a great time together, and I don't hear from you until 6 days, and so and mind you, those niggas were niggas who were in the same physical vicinity as me. Like, what? I know you're alive. You just haven't. Anyway, but yeah, I would remember those times with those niggas, and in addition to the trauma that I explained that I've endured when I was younger, I felt like, oh my gosh, what if it falls down? What if he doesn't, what if him not texting me good morning today means that he's done texting me good mornings? What if that's what it means? That's what it means, right? And so we've had discussions where I've said initially, I was like, hey, communication is all we have. You're living, you're in Boston, I'm in Houston, and communication needs to be solid, super, 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 super solid for me to feel secure, actually, I didn't say the word secure, and he's not even familiar with the trauma that I went through, and eventually I will have this conversation with him, and it doesn't mean that he is responsible to make me not come from a place of trauma anymore. That's really my responsibility. It's nobody else's. Healing is my own responsibility. Just as it is everyone else's, it is your individual choice to heal, to eradicate that negative voice. And so me sharing that side with him is not going to be in a manipulation type of way. It's just to give him context. So, and I know he won't feel manipulated by it. But I just, so I had a conversation with him. I was like, hey, I feel like, all we have is communication. And if I don't hear from you, 6+ hours in a day, I don't like that. That doesn't make me feel good. If we're supposed to be building and be something, boyfriend and girlfriend and just more and all these things, then I want to fucking hear from you every hour in the hour. I mean, I didn't say that last part, but basically that's what I'm saying, right? And that text came about because it was one day that it was 2 days actually. So save is day A. It's a Wednesday. Our conversation is sparse. And he ended up hitting me up that night. And okay, I just brushed it off. The next morning, the next day is coming up. New opportunities for better communication. The next day comes up. Don't really hear from him. It's late. It's not late, but it's like 8 p.m. And he finally does text me, and then he's talking about how he had a bad day and he just wants to be by himself and doesn't want to talk. And the thing is, look, as much as I am an advocate for being by yourself, like y'all know, I love my alone time. I love my space, right? And there's a privilege that I have with that because I am literally in my own space. He's not in his own physical space. So I'm sure there is a level of chaos that he has to deal with and just manage just because of that. And so I'm coming from a place of privilege because I have my own space. No one else is here in my space. It is my own cultivated peace, okay? That's not interrupted by anybody. So I get that. But I also, I feel like sometimes with him, he lets something that happened in his day, it could be something, and I don't want to trivialize his pain or his reason for a quote unquote bad day. I just feel like sometimes he doesn't manage it as best as he could. You know, he shuts down, he doesn't talk about it, and we was having this conversation and it kind of got hot. Because it happened again at a later time and I addressed it and he thought I was bringing up shit from the past, like before we rekindled in early August. And I was saying, no, this happened twice before. And sometimes his memory just be off. But anyway, I was bringing it up and he was kind of getting his little bag of feelings like, oh, so well, what am I supposed to, like, you want me to tell you X, Y, and Z, and what you gonna do, Max, what you gonna do, like, trying to tell me, like, I can't really do much to fix the problem. And look, that may be true, right? There might be something that he's going through in Boston that cannot be resolved because I don't have the tools or I don't have the physical presence to resolve it for him. I don't know what it is, but the point is, I get that. But what I emphasized to him was that that's not the point. I think you're missing the point here is when we're in this space together, when we're in this relationship, you should, like, I want you to come to me. I want you to vent to me. I want this to be your peace, your refuge when you do have a bad day. Instead of running away from me, come to me with your complaints. Come to me with your frustrations of the day. Let me be there for you. That's really what it was. I can't physically be there right now. You can't physically be with me, but I want to be able to come to you and vice versa. And so, we came to an understanding. And what I love about him is that I'm not gonna say love, but what I, anyway, back to what I was saying. He always finds a way to be humble. So he could have just stood in his frustration with me and we could have just, okay, well, fuck you too then, bitch, right? Something so extra. And that's so normal. That was so normal for me in previous situations with niggas, that something so minute could be so mountainous. And I'm over here like, damn, we really broke up, but he really called me a bitch because I said he didn't call me enough. Like, it'll just be a big ass deal when it didn't have to be. And what I could appreciate about Church Bay is that he doesn't allow for it to be a big ass deal. He's quick to move on. And he doesn't move on in a dismissive way. He doesn't say I'm sorry in a dismissive way. He recognizes, hey, I was a little loud. I'm sorry for the way I spoke to you. You didn't deserve that. Like he knows what he's apologizing. Okay. And that's what I could appreciate about him. And I am so quick to be the one to also say, well, fuck you too then, or fuck you first, right? And just let it go. And with Church Bay, I'm realizing, oh, no, I don't want to do that with him. I don't want to say fuck you. I don't want to say, that's why your dick ain't shit. I mean, I don't know if his dick shit anyway, but you know what I mean. You know how we fight when we argue, right? Suddenly the dick ain't shit. Suddenly the dick isn't working, but it was working 2 nights ago just fine, right? But you know how it is. So I was feeling that way and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do better. So there was a recent situation where, so he has his own musical projects, his own passion projects and stuff. And he it was literally yesterday. And he just wasn't giving me enough attention. It really was just, it's literally that simple. As complicated as I may seem, I'm simple, okay? Just give me some damn attention. Maybe I'm a baby, but show up. Show up. Hit up my line. Be on FaceTime with me all day, nigga. What's up? What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, huh? You're in a meeting? Okay, why? Okay, what are you doing? Like, I don't care. But no, that's me being selfish, and I don't want to do that. But that's really, okay, so that's just how I was feeling at the time, literally yesterday. And so I was trying to be cute initially and was just like, damn, I get no love today. Like, because the conversation was super sparse. And, I just feel like if the day starts and it's almost noontime and you have yet to say a hello, good morning, it's like, what are you doing? What? I'm sorry. What are you doing? And so I started the conversation off first. I was like, hey, good morning, just starting it off. But the fact that I had to start it off already annoyed me. And maybe that's coming from a place of being spoiled. I don't know, but I just want you to say good morning to me first. Hello? And I say good morning, don't get me wrong. I do say it first sometimes. But in that moment, it was a time, I think it was the day previous, he wasn't saying, like, he didn't say it first again. He got caught up with something. Like, I don't know what it is, but it just annoyed me, right? So he was so he showed me a picture of him at the barbershop, and like he's getting done errands for the day. And he eventually was in a meeting, and I was just like, okay, like I didn't know he was gonna be in a meeting. I didn't know his schedule. I didn't know what was going on, so I just didn't understand why I wasn't hearing from him. And then he was telling me real quick, "Hey, I'm in a meeting right now. I can't really focus in what's going on in the meeting and hit you up, but it's gonna be over in like an hour or so, and I'll hit you up afterwards, I promise." And I'm just like annoyed in my feelings. I didn't respond, but I read the text, okay? So I read the text and whatever. The day goes on, nighttime comes, I hear nothing from him. So I'm upset, I'm livid, but I'm telling myself, I'm like, Maxine, I need to just chill. I need to chill. Yes, I'm pissed, but I know when I've been pissed before, I will just go on, and send this massive ass soliloquy to him. And I don't want to do that, right? I need to do better, be better, do better, be better. Like, it's literally it. So I'm just trying to calm myself down. And then I'm so angry. I'm sitting in my feelings. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I really like this guy. I really like what we have. I really like him. And so that's really why I'm so upset right now. I wish I could just let it go. I wish I could just not feel this way. But I am, and I'm so mad. Like, I'm mad for a lot of different things. I'm mad that I can't easily detach myself from the situation. I know if I really wanted to, I could, but I don't want to revert back to my toxic ways. Yes, I did call myself toxic, and we'll talk about that, because Black women could be toxic too. I know we talk a lot about Black men being toxic. Bitch. Maybe my middle name is toxic, but working on it. But Black women could definitely be toxic, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, so I was like, I'll just chill, I'll relax, I'll sit back, let me stop. I'm just like trying to talk myself out of it. I did not text him like a heavy text. I did commit to that, and I was successful in doing so. And so I was just like, in my feelings, upset. I was thinking about I was feeling abandoned. I was feeling let down. I was feeling, oh my gosh, he didn't do what he said he was going to do. Oh my gosh, he didn't fulfill his promise. He said he promised, right? And so I think it's unfair, because yes, there's validity in upholding someone's promise, right? Holding them accountable to that. And yet there is some grace that we must give everyone. People, right? Your partner, as a human being, sometimes they fail us, and fail is such a heavy word, but sometimes they disappoint us and they don't fulfill said promise. And it's not because they want you to feel like shit. right? It's not because they want you to feel like you don't matter to them, because that's really not what it is. And it's really, they got caught up with X, Y, and Z. They're doing X, Y, and Z. They're not focused enough on responding to you or calling you in time. And it's not because they don't like you or love you or whatever it is. It's just that they're not thinking about you at that moment. I know that still sounds kind of bad, right? But it's just, is getting myself out of the headspace of not everything's about me. Like, I'm not the only person in his life, right? I'm not the only person he cares about in his life. I'm not saying that he's fucking other women or whatever, but I'm saying that he has other things going on that he is giving passion and commitment to, and I don't want to take that away from him. That's like him telling me, hey, I want you to stop. And mind you, he was in those meetings, the Zoom meeting that he was talking about, he's referencing, it's all for his musical projects. It's all for things that he is passionate for. So that's like him telling me, hey, I want you to stop recording episodes. I want you to end this podcast. Like, nigga, please kiss my black ass. Like, what? That's like him telling me to, stop doing things that I enjoy. Who am I? Who is he? So that's really what I have been trying to tell myself and convince myself of. But I was just getting so frustrated because I was thinking about just different pocketed moments when he wasn't as communicative. He was putting his priorities, all of them. I'm not saying have other priorities, right? But he was putting all of them above me on certain days. Like, the weekend is usually the days when he's like super MIA. Sundays is a heavy schedule for him. He doesn't only play at his church, he plays at other churches. He plays at events. He's at rehearsal. He's doing X, Y, and Z. And he's doing stuff that he loves, So there is this whole, mama, relax. Like, this is what he needs to do to fulfill his own personal growth, to fulfill his own personal joy. And so, but yeah, I was still feeling, and I still feel, valid in my feelings of feeling dismissed or not seen, because don't say you're gonna promise to call me and don't call me, right? So anyway, I was still feeling that way. So today comes and I'm just like, I'm gonna learn how to detach. And I know that I've said that detachment is toxic, right? When I've been so quick to detach myself from niggas before, that it has been a benefit for me, because I'm quick to move on. I'm quick to make it casual. I'm quick to let you the fuck go. And yet, when I do that, sometimes I am missing out on a blessing that I am fearful of receiving, because I am operating from a place of fear rather than worthiness. Okay. So although, detachment could be toxic, if you use it in a sense to be healthy, right? So I was thinking, okay, I'm just gonna detach in a way. I'm not gonna think about this so much, or I'm just gonna put my focus on other things. I'm just going to chill. Like, let me just focus on my own projects right now. And even though I am doing that, I still want to hear from him, right? But I was telling myself to just relax and chill. Thankfully, that was working and everything. And he hit me up the morning. So I'm like, if he doesn't hit me up this morning, like, don't be waiting until 8 p.m. to address. Because sometimes with guys, they're quick to, they're quick to, ignore the elephant in the room. Like, hello, I just had an attitude with you. Why are you just ignoring me? Hello? Like, don't just ignore that. And so, I've said that to him. I was like, I don't like when, because it happened one time where I was saying something, and the conversation kind of ended. I don't know what happened. The next day, he's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm just like, what? Like, I don't want to just hate. I don't like small talk. Let's get to it. We didn't hit a resolution, Once we hit that resolution, then we could move on to the whole, hey, how's your day, Anyway, so he did hit me up in the morning. I was appreciative for that, because I'm like, okay, if you wait longer, I would have been cussed you out. So I'm glad he didn't. But anyway, I'm gonna paraphrase it. Yeah, I don't think he doesn't listen. But eventually he might. But I don't know. But so he addressed the elephant in the room, because oftentimes people say I'm sorry. I remember Boston Bay. Yes, Boston. I'm gonna reference him till the day I'm done. Okay, till the day I'm done, I will reference him, because there is so much of a sharp contrast that I can't deny. I cannot deny. So anyway, Church Bay, I referenced Boston Bay because when Boston Bay apologized to me, mind you, he hardly apologized for his actions towards me. But one time when he did, he was like, he just blew up on me yet again. And I was like, why are you so mean? Like, why are you acting like that? Like, I'm just stopping with my response to the said argument, and I'm just addressing his meanness, like your character. Like, you are just mean. You're a mean person. And I guess he got offended with that, of course, as with anything else, and was trying to dig at me, and he was saying, why are you single? Why are you like trying to be, and he's done that before with me. He's like, dang, that's why you always gonna talk about being single, the X, Y, and Z, always trying to put it in my face, like, nigga, what? Are you okay? And I was like, obviously you're doing that to get a reaction from me, and this whole, like, it's not working. Like, so you asking that question is not at all helping you, right? You're not making me feel sad about it. Like, sir, I'm single because none of y'all niggas are worthy. Like, that's it. That's why. And yes, there's some shit that I could say why I'm single, but the point is, most of the time y'all ain't worthy for me. And he was trying to play it off like, I'm just starting a conversation. I'm just starting, like, really? You're not starting a conversation. You're trying to be petty. And I don't know, anyway, think about that. It's just like so manipulative, so mean, so gaslighting. But anyway, he was saying that, and I just kind of checked out, and he finally, like a couple hours later, he hit me up and he was like, I apologize. And I didn't feel like going back and forth. I didn't want to do the whole, what do you apologize for? That I just said thank you and I was done, right? But he didn't address exactly what are you apologizing for, right? What are you sorry for? What do you want to make amends for? What is it? He never said that. All he said was, I apologize. And I'm sure that took the grit of his teeth to say. Those two damn words, it probably took him punching the wall for him to realize, damn, let me just say I'm sorry. Not even I'm sorry. I'm sorry feels too vulnerable for niggas. So I apologize is the best that he could do. So that's what I received, okay? So that's what I was used to. I apologize. You're not even telling me exactly what you're apologizing for. You're not even really apologetic, right? He done that before when I was on my way to Boston, and we had an argument yet again, and he knew that I was on my way, and he was like, Max, you really gonna come to Boston and not see me, really? Da, da, da. And I was calmly expressing to him why his behavior is not okay. Like, hey, I understand sometimes I get mad too, but the way that you speak to me is not okay. I don't like that, and I don't deserve that. And I'm just like making it very clear, very layman term, okay? And his quick response was, you're right, I'm sorry. No, I don't think he said I'm sorry. He's like, you're right, you have a valid point, I'll be better. No, he said, I'll get better. He specifically said, I'll get better. And I listened to that, and I was like, well, I read that, and I was so into that, because one, he's never ever said anything alluding to him needing to be better. And him saying that, it showed a vulnerability for me to see in him. And I took that, and it was just another gaslighting moment. Like, he's just saying that just to get what he wants, and he never got better. Like, but him saying I'll get better made me realize, oh my gosh, he sees that he's not well, right? He sees that he needs help. He sees that he needs healing. And But he never said exactly how he was going to get better. He never said, hey, I'm going to go to therapy. Hey, I'm going to, address my feelings head on. Hey, I'm going to watch the way I speak to you. Like, never. It was just whatever I wanted to hear. And because I was in that headspace, then I accepted that. Anyway, that's just some context to increase your understanding of how I was receiving types of apologies. Now with Church Bay, this nigga, he uses his words, okay, honey? And for someone like me who loves words, who loves literature, who loves poetry, writing, reading, all of that jazz, art, it's so refreshing to communicate with someone who uses his words, who communicates, who knows why he likes me. Like, yo, remember I talked about before, I was like, hood niggas always be like, I don't know why I like you. It's just something about you. You just different. You just different. And it's like, nigga, what? I'm just different? Like, every bitch is different. Like, cut the shit. What is it about me, Maxine Morency? What is it about me that you like? And starting with an I don't know, you just different is not it. It doesn't hit for me, okay? And I remember when I asked Church Bay, I want you to tell me how you feel about me. When I tell you he had a whole book. Hello? He sent me a PDF, nigga. This is what it is. And some guys, even when they do say there's something about you, you just different, sometimes they add, oh, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. They just comment on your physical appearance. And yes, I love a compliment, but for those who know about me, I love a character compliment. I love a compliment that really tells me that you know me, that you know who I am. Aside from my physical appearance, you are attracted to my being. You are attracted to my essence. And you're not just using those words, but you're naming points in my personality that you appreciate so much. And sometimes they could just be like, you just have great personality. But what does that mean though? Like, use your words. I'm that girl. You better use your words. Come correct. Tell me how you feel. Lay it out. Know what to say. Name an example of the good personality that you claim I have, that I do have. I recognize that. I know that. Like, look, trust. Whatever you say to me, I already know. Like, I already know I'm that girl, right? I already know I'm that bitch. You should like me. You should say I'm different. I am different, but I want you to name it. I want you to be specific. Use your words. Clarify. Okay, I am a teacher for a reason. I tell my students these things for a reason, because you need to use your words, honey. You say, I don't know, you just different. That's not gonna get you that job, huh? I don't know, you just different. Nigga, figure it out and then come back later, okay? So back to Church Bay. So he hits me up. He's like, first he addresses me, good morning, Maxine, because that's exactly how you should start off, with the hello, with the greeting, right? I'm so annoying. But he went into his apology. He's like, look, I want to apologize for not FaceTiming you last night, even though I said I was going to. So that right there, I was like, okay, you got it. But I had to wait like 30 minutes to respond. Did I wait 30 minutes? I waited a few minutes. I waited about 45 minutes to respond. I was driving though, so that isn't my excuse. But he immediately addressed, there was more to it and I'll get to it, but he immediately addressed exactly what he was apologizing for, right? It wasn't no, look, Max, you bugging. I gotta do X, Y, and Z. I don't know why you feeling type of way. Mind you, I didn't respond to this text. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying previous to this text, I didn't hit him up and was, angry with him. I didn't make him feel like crap. I just decided to not say anything. And for him to not take that to his advantage, because some guys will think, oh, well, she didn't say anything, or she didn't realize I didn't call her like I said I was going to. Like, no, nigga, women do realize. Sometimes we just don't talk about it and we wait until you address it. And so they would think, oh well, she didn't bring it up, so let me just not talk about it and just start a new conversation like, hey, how's your day? Don't how's your day to me. No. And you may think, oh well, his first text could be like, hey, how's it going, right? And then he'll get into apology. No, start it off first, okay? Don't start off with, hey, how you doing? I'm okay. Get to it. What's up? What do you need to say? I'm waiting for you to say something. I'm that girl, because sometimes, it's so easy to just ignore what's going on, how I'm feeling. And instead of doing that, get straight to it. So he apologized. He's like, look, I'm sorry for not FaceTiming you last night, even though he said he was going to. He was saying how he got tied up into too many things. So he's sorry for that. So not just that I apologize, but no, he's saying I'm sorry. He's like, look, I don't think you feel this way, but I'm starting to feel like you get the short end of the stick. Unfortunately, when I think about it, because I'm trying to get so much done that I didn't have the motivation before to do. I said I was going to paraphrase, but I'm literally reading word by word. But basically, he's recognizing that I could be feeling this way, and I didn't say those words exactly, but he hit it right at the head. He hit it very well on target. I do feel like, and I have felt like sometimes I do get the short end of the stick when he gets so gun-ho focused into his projects, and it's like, look, have your projects, have your other priorities. I appreciate for you to have those things. But I also want to have some space somewhere to be created for me to be there, and I like that he was reflective on that. It takes a lot to be a reflective person, and for him to be reflective and recognize, hey, I realize that you're getting the short end of the stick, and I don't want to continue to do that, and I don't want that to cost me less time with you. Like, nigga, okay. Here, let me tell you my ring finger. But anyway, but yeah, and he's something I really love that he said. He's like, I acknowledge that, and I see that as a flaw, one, and I'm gonna start to do a better job at putting you above certain priorities. And I like that he says certain priorities, because I don't want him to not have other shit going on, right? I don't want him to suddenly exit out because, oh, Maxine doesn't like it, right? No, have your foot down and be like, look, Max, I won't be able to hit you up as much today, but I will hit you up. Just know I can't as much today, because today's the day when I am singing or, playing this instrument at different churches and X, Y, and Z, and that's totally fine. But I like that he says certain priorities will I have more of a priority over, and there will be some where I won't, and that's totally fine, and I love that. And I just, when I read that, I feel like that initial text just warranted a strong response from me. It warranted me to respond in that level of maturity. Like, how do you respond to that and you be like, well, nigga, you really is fucked up. I don't like that. I'm so done with you. Yo, whack ass. Like, what? Like, bitch, this is not working out if you're going to talk to him like that, So when you have someone who knows how to talk to you, it's like, you better figure out the words. You better learn how to use your vocabulary. You better expand your words. And so me responding to him, I was like, look, I appreciate you for acknowledging that. I thank you for your commitment to doing a better job at that. And I was reiterating that, I love that he has his own passion projects. I love that he has his own ambitions. And so I don't want you to ever feel like that I want you to forget about them. And I also appreciate that you are making a commitment to creating space for me in the midst of your other priorities. Lord, the words. I'm just in love with the word exchange, okay? And so that's where we are, and I was realizing within myself, he is inspiring me to be better. Although although me and him will have minor moments when our communication style isn't as strong as I want it to be, because I want to hear from him every second, right? I also have to check myself. Yet, when we argue, when we come to a point of conflict, he's not over the top. He's not dramatic. He's not quick to call me out my name. He's not quick to, leave me and ghost me. And I have to remind myself that he's not these other niggas. He's not Boston Bay. He's not Houston nigga. He's not every other nigga that I fucked and dated. And it's like, they're so quick to cuss me out and, operate from a space of fear themselves. And I'm inspired. I'm inspired to be a better me. I'm inspired to be a better Maxine, to be a better communicator, to be, to think better, to have a stronger mindset, to not always stem from or ever, but I know there will be moments again in the future, but to be cognizant of moments when I am operating from spaces of fear, from spaces of abandonment. I need to check that and realize, hey, that's not what's going on right now. That's not reality for me right now. And so I need to check myself. This is not really what's happening. This is in my head. This is my inner child acting out. And I need to tell her, what happened in the past is done. What I went through is done. And I am deserving of a love like this. So there's something to that. I'm so grateful for my introspection, introspective moments that I have. And I'm so grateful for him. So I'm happy about that. So let's talk about toxic women. I'm seeing more conversations around this from people who I follow on YouTube. So this is a topic that is not really discussed. Not often are we discussing how women could be the problem. And, there's been moments when guys will say, oh, she's crazy. She's crazy. She killed, not killed, but like she wrecked my car. She busted the windows out my car. All those things are fucked up, right? But that has been behavior that has been accepted along the years because, oh, well, she did that because you cheated on her. You had a baby on her. And yeah, okay, cool. I get it. But it's still not okay. I'm not condoning that anymore. Look, I had a moment when I did wreck my ex's car. And that was just something to do. Like, well, let me just go ahead and do that. My cousins encouraged it. And it was just like a fun activity. But anyway, what was I going to say? So I listen to the Joe Budden podcast. I am a fan of I love Joe Budden. And I know that's not PC. It's probably not politically correct to say as a black woman. But if you haven't realized by now, I do what the fuck I want. I don't go off of a bandwagon. I don't go off of a script. I am my own self. And I have always felt a connection to Joe Budden ever since he started his podcast. So before he had his deal with Spotify, that is now ending actually. But before his deal with Spotify, before this mainstream success for his podcast, I was a fan of his right at the genesis of it. And primarily because he is someone who I understand, and he is someone who is often misunderstood, as am I, as I am and have been for so many years. I've been misunderstood my whole life. And so to find someone who is as creative, as quirky and complex as me, to be on the level that he's at, and yes, he's had maybe not too favorable moments in his romantic relationships, but I think oftentimes in this culture that we're in, we're so quick to believe all women, and this is I don't care what I'm about to say, that might be problematic, but that statement alone is not helpful, because there are women out there who are unfortunately saying some things to get clout, to get attention, to get exposure, to get access to different rooms. And Tahiri is an example of that. So if you are not familiar, Tahiri, she's not, she's just one of those IG girls who started off not in Instagram, because Instagram wasn't around back then, but she started off in one of those hip hop magazines, and she was known for her big ass. So she was one of the pioneers of this whole big ass movement. And she has somehow managed to still remain relevant to this day. And her and Joe were in a relationship for 5 years. They had a whole reality show on Joe Budden's YouTube page many, many years ago. And they were actually on Love and Hip Hop for the initial seasons. It was Love and Hip Hop New York. He actually proposed to her. She denied him, and that could have just been for the show, and he probably knew it was going to happen. But that was a part of their storyline. And so they've since broke up. It's been many years since that denial of proposal. And he's since moved on. She has since moved on. He has moved on to another cast member from Love and Hip Hop, Sin Santana. They are no longer together in a romantic relationship, but they co-parent their child together. But they were together for a little bit. He even proposed to her. They didn't end up getting married. But I'm saying all this to say, they were in a relationship, right? And they have since moved on to new partners. Now, all of a sudden, Tahiri is making accusations that Joe Budden actually broke her nose, fractured her rib, and just like really fucked her up physically. And she also accused him of mental abuse and emotional abuse, etc. So the problem I have with that is this is not given in its entire context. And because it was so long ago, and they have since been cool, seemingly. She has since been over his house. He has been over her house, just on some friend level. They have done new reality shows together. And just from what I see from my own eye, and from hearing from Joe Budden on his podcast about this situation, he gives more context to they've been cool. Like, we've talked on the phone. Like, I've had your back when you were in another domestic abusive relationship and X, Y, and Z. The point is, now all of a sudden you're saying she went on an interview and was crying, and what's coincidental is she went on an interview. She only did an audio voice. She did not show herself. And she only did an audio interview, and she was crying. Joe Budden was saying crocodile tears, but she probably was. I didn't bother to listen to that video. But she went on and just was accusing him of this action. And what bothered him is that this has been an easy scapegoat for Joe Budden. This has been something that has been said throughout the years, that he has abused previous girlfriends, and this has just been the thing people just paint on him to taint his image. And I think it's so unfair when there are actual abusers out there, and Joe Budden isn't one of them. Like, look, I don't know him personally. I really don't, but I really feel a connection to him, and I really feel like I just get him. But he's not the one. Look, he also gives more context to the type of relationship he had with Tahiri at the time. Let's understand things in its nuanced form. They were both very young, in a relationship with each other. They were both toxic. He never admitted, actually he denied that he ever physically hurt her, but they were abusive to each other in different ways. He also admitted that she abused him physically. And we don't give enough conversations around that, around how women abuse men physically. He was saying how She threw things at him, she slapped him, she punched him, she pushed him, like she really hurt him. Now let's understand that in those moments, say if she started it, right? She started it, she probably pushed him, punched him in the face, slapped him, threw water in his face, whatever it is. If he had reacted impulsively, let's say he reacted impulsively and pushed her back, and she obviously fell because his strength outweighs hers. That does not mean he just abused you. That doesn't mean that suddenly he's the abuser. He's a scary battle guy, this battle wolf, and you have no responsibility here. Like, let's be clear. You hit him first. And I know we want to say, well, still, a man shouldn't put hands on women. Understand that when anyone is put in a position where intentions are risen, feelings are just heightened, you're upset, I caught you cheating on me, you caught me cheating on you, like everything is so heightened to a certain level that you hit me, I just might hit you back. Okay, whether you're a woman or not. So please don't put your hands on me. And sometimes when women hear that, some women, I'm not saying all, but sometimes when some women hear that, they think, oh, this is a challenge. Oh, you gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? And then when he hits you, sis, what are you surprised about? Like, look, and I'm not condoning any physical abuse. I'm just saying we need to hear the story in its entirety. And it's unfair when people like to just give him that tainted paint job of, well, he's abusive, he physically abused his previous girlfriends, and it's not okay. Because it's like, girl, if you were really still upset about this alleged abuse, then why have you been chummy chum with him since? Like, it's been years since they've been together, years, and she has been cool, seemingly cool with him, has been out with him, has been over his place, has invited him over to her place, has congratulated Sin for their pregnancy when they were together and they had their baby. And it's just like all of these things don't match up, and it just speaks to this culture of clout, this culture of, hey, I'm just going to say whatever I need to say to gain exposure, to gain sympathy, to seem as if I'm this battered woman and I'll get more interview time, I'll get more media time because people are going to see this, and look, they give me more attention. I could promote this product line, I could be a spokesperson, I could be this champagne, but this person, this campaign person, and now more income, right? Now more exposure. And it's just sad. It's sad that there are women out here who are like that, who are that toxic. That is a form of toxicity. That is a form of that. And we cannot have a full range conversation about abuse, about toxicity, when we leave out women who fall under that as well as some men, right? And it's not fair. We have to talk about it in its entirety, okay? So I stand with Joe Budden. Call it bias, call it what you want, but I think we need to really look at the women who are quick to jump on this bandwagon, to do whatever they need to do to gain exposure, to gain attention. Is not okay. We need to call that out and call it for what it is. So I just look, I don't appreciate that. I think there are actual abusers out there, actual terrorists of men out there who really will fuck you up, who have solid, caring, kind, nurturing girlfriends in their life, and they still beat on them. We need to talk about those men, not Joe Budden, not Trey Songz. I think I talked about Trey Songz in an Instagram story that I did weeks ago, and I just can't believe the women who are so quick to call him a predator, can we talk about the woman he was with who wanted him, not wanted, but like who approached him with their sexual fantasies, right? There's this woman who is a known slut. That's not me slut shaming, but let's call a spade a spade. I don't like the word slut, but let's call it for what it is, okay? And she got his response. Her initial text to him was apparently, hey, are you free this weekend? Something like that. I want to suck your dick. Like, super forward. Look, be sexually forward. Be all of that. And when he asks you to pee on him, don't be surprised. Look, and peeing on someone doesn't make you look. We talk about R. Kelly. We'll talk about him in a little bit, maybe. But peeing on someone doesn't make them a predator. Can we just say that? Like, that may not be your boat, right? It may not be your jazz. You may not want to be peed on, right? Maybe too warm for you. Some people do. Some people like to get peed on. Some people like to get spit in their mouth. Y'all, this is going to be TMI. I remember I was with this guy years ago, okay? And I'm disgusted to even say what he did to me and what I allowed. But he actually did it to me without my consent because he didn't ask me. But you know how you in a sexual, escapade and you don't ask before? The whole language of consent wasn't really a thing back then. So let's just make that clear. I don't think he didn't rape me. Let's just make that clear. But anyway, so we was in a compromising position. He was eating me out, right? Just call it what it is. He was eating me out. He then coughed up a spit and spit into my pussy. And I was laying on the bed like, oh my God. If you're telling me to be done with this behavior, this is clear. Like, I was so disgusted, okay? He literally he was eating my pussy just fine. Like, you did not have to spit on it. I don't think I was dry. Maybe I was. Maybe that's why he did that. Maybe. Now that I think about that. The point is, you could have just licked your fingers and did that. Don't spit in my pussy. And some people like to justify the act of spitting in sexual intercourse as it's not a nasty thing because you are naturally exchanging spit, right? When you're kissing, that's spit in the mouth. French kissing, you're spit in the mouth. When you're sucking dick, there's spit in your mouth. I get that, but it's still, I don't want you to spit in my pussy. Let's just say that. I don't want you to even, I don't want you to do that in my pussy. I don't even, you know what, just get up. Let's put your clothes back on. We could go for a walk instead. I don't want that. Don't spit in my pussy. It's weird. So he did that, and I was so disgusted. That was the first and last time he did that shit. And that was the first time and last time anyone has done that to me. And it's like, he did it so casually as if that was just the next step to do. Nigga, don't ever do that shit again. Ever in your life. My pussy is dry now. Ew. The point of what I'm saying is, that girl, to Trey Songz, she came about, her energy came about as if she was down for whatever. So when he asked her, or somewhat demanded from what she was saying, demanded her to pee on him, she was explaining it as if that was this weird thing, as if she just didn't expect it, or as if she didn't want to. And look, okay, cool, maybe she didn't want to. The point is, that doesn't make him a weirdo. I don't that's not fair. I think we need to stop demonizing or just stigmatizing different sexual practices in the bedroom. If it's consensual, then it's fine, and then you may think, well, the argument is it wasn't consensual. Really? I don't know, because it seemed consensual to me. She willingly walked into the room. She willingly addressed him and proposition him. She willingly did so. And when he matched that energy tenfold with the whole pee on me, now all of a sudden it's not consensual. Like, can we cut this shit? Some women out there are toxic as fuck. Like, stop it. Stop. That doesn't mean he's a predator. I'm still gonna play Trey Songz. Stop. I'm really sick of it. Let's talk about Summer Walker. Look, Summer Walker has said some problematic things recently, and I don't stand with everything that she says, but let's get into what she said recently about her finding it disgusting that women will kind of cheat men for their money. So she reposted an article of Future, a picture of Future and his latest baby mama. She may not be the latest, but one of them. Her name is Eliza Rain, and Summer's caption was, she wants $53,000 a month. Women like this are so disgusting and sad. I feel so bad for this man. Where do y'all even find these type of women? And look, yes, it's not her place to make this comment. She doesn't know Eliza's, and she's Haitian, by the way, so hello, shout out. But she doesn't know that, she doesn't know Eliza's background. She doesn't know her lifestyle. She doesn't know the type of life that she lives that will cost this money, right? She doesn't know that. And I don't like to count people's money. I don't like people to determine how much money I got, and vice versa. I get that. But sis, $53,000 a month? Can we just really be honest with ourselves? There are women out there who will purposely seek these wealthy men, seek men who are rappers, who are ballers, who got it, okay? Purposely seek them, fuck them, not be on the pill, not have any contraceptive, anything on them, and then boop, 9 months later, I got a baby, get a daddy, I need all the money you got. That is real. Let's not act like it's not real. That is a real thing. These things happen. Eliza looks like that was a case for her. Like when she got, and I don't know. Who knows? But the point is, you knew he had 7 baby mamas. You knew he wasn't shit with them. Like, they were already publicly saying that he wasn't an active father in their life. And maybe he does care for them financially, right? But he was not an active father in their life. So my thing is, why would you then seek out this man? And apparently they were on and off again for many years. But my thing is, why would you willingly have unprotected sex with this man knowing that he ain't shit? It's one thing to have sex with somebody and he ain't shit, but it's like, okay, cool, you're protected. You don't have to worry about bringing a child into this life with him because, you're protected. But it's another thing to be in sexual relations with somebody, know that he really ain't shit. He's not going to show up for you. He's not going to be present in your life. No, definitely not in the kid's life. He doesn't know his dad. What? And you're going to have his baby? You're going to get pregnant by him? All of that is for an ultimate reason. What is that? To get bank. Period. Cut the shit. Cut it out. So let's just talk about that there, okay? So that's clear. It was for clout, okay? Okay, she has his baby, can't take it back. Boom. Yes, babies are bundles of joy. This is a miracle. This is a blessing. And it was arranged. And you did this for a bigger reason. And she was your cash cow. Let's just call it what it is. Damn. Okay, so now all of a sudden she's asking for $53,000. Now, according to what Eliza responded, she said that in a child support case, both parents have to submit financial paperwork to determine a fair amount of support. She said that she submitted hers day one, but he never submitted his. And so what happens is they do a general assumption of income. So there's this site called Forbes where people report their income, blah, blah, blah. And so according to the income that was found about Future, they determined $53,000 a month is suitable for child support. And it's ridiculous, y'all. Like, you really need $53,000 a month? Really? Okay. How about we do it like this? There should be another way to do it. Like, put this money in a safe, put it in a particular bank. The recipient could only cash out 15% every few months or so. Like, put it in a safe like that really narrows down the usage of said money. There's no way that you could use this money to then buy, an extra Lambo, to buy Louis Vuittons. There's no way to go around that. This money is directly for the child. Call it what you want. Mama, you're being judgmental. You don't know what it's like to be a mother. I know $53,000 a month. Come on. Let's cut this shit. It's toxic. It is toxic. It is. You and look, there's responsibility that Future could take too, right? He should stop laying with women unprotected and be more accountable. He should be a present father, be in his children's lives as best as he can. He is a rock star in his own hip hop sense. So I understand that he can't be fully present, but he needs to take responsibility in that. Yes, I agree. But there is a level of toxicity from this woman and from other women who are like this. So I'm not saying Summer Walker's wrong, right? I think it's so easy to say, oh, she just mind her business. This has nothing to do with her. She doesn't know how it is to be a mother and blah, blah, blah. Look, I get that. That could be true. But just as we all give our comments and 2 cents about topics that has nothing to do with us, right, that we have no clarity on, she's doing the same thing. Yes, she's an artist and she's in the limelight, but she is well within her opinion, and that's totally fine. And as am I. So I just think at this point, we need to have more conversations around women who are toxic. Okay, it starts with ourselves. It starts with our conversation with our girlfriends. And we check it. Like, girl, don't key his car. Okay? There was a time when I keyed my ex-boyfriend's car of many years ago. And I don't want to get into it. Let me just give a quick story. I was a Tahiri in that situation. I actually hit him. I didn't hit him with my bare hands. I used an iron. There's a difference. It's like, I sound horrible. You can't laugh after you abuse somebody. I didn't abuse him, but the point is, there was a quick moment in time in that relationship when I was so overwhelmed with anger. Instead of properly managing that emotion, I allowed the anger to get the best of me, and I picked up an iron that was nearby and I took it to his face. I didn't hit him. I saw, I caught. It's like, you know how you see yourself outside of yourself. And I realized what I was doing. I just dropped the iron. I'm like, oh shit, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came up with me. I was really upset. But that relationship was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot because he was many years older. In age. Yes, I said age ain't a number. But when you're with somebody who doesn't see you as his equal and looks down on you and speaks condescendingly towards you, so at one point it's gonna fuck up with you, right? It's gonna do something to your mental state, and you're going to really be upset. At least I was. And at that time, I wasn't as vocal as I am now. I wasn't in my fullness as I am now. I was getting there, but I wasn't there yet. So the me as I am today would be so, or the me then would be so proud of the me I am today. But I wish I was what I am today back then. But anyway, I wasn't there yet. So I forgot what I was upset about, but I was so mad about something that he did or something. Yes, it doesn't excuse my behavior. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying to give context. Let's give context, okay? But yeah, I was so mad. I picked up the iron, almost flung it to his, like, if his short ass did not move, hey, there would have been a print on his face. And we ended shortly after. So let's just make that clear. We ended shortly after. He broke up with me. He felt like, oh, ever since that moment, I was having dreams and things about like feeling unsafe and afraid of me, like just dramatic. Like, nigga, relax. And it's not that serious. But yes, look, I could also say that, and I could also say that I take responsibility, and that was wrong. I should have never done that, and I get that. But I also feel like in that time, a lot of conversations weren't had about women being toxic, right? And so it seems so normalized for women to throw water in a man's face, to slap a man, right? That just seemed like the natural thing to do. And so I thought it was natural to do that. So that's what I did. I would never do that again. Let's make that very clear. That was wrong. I don't agree with that. But I understand how when you don't talk about something enough, when you don't raise awareness about something enough, it becomes a natural thing. And you realize that, ooh, this toxic behavior was just something that just happened naturally. So I get that. That's why we need to have more conversations. That's why we need to talk about things more. So we could recognize, hey, this is not okay. This behavior is actually very problematic and it needs to stop. Okay? Thank you guys for listening, hearing me rant. I hope everything that I'm saying resonates to some degree with you. And with that being said, I encourage you all to make sure you have subscribed to this podcast. I am on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and Spotify. So subscribe, follow, and please, please, please leave a review and hit that 5 like button, okay? I appreciate you all for listening, and I will check in with you all next time. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. Be sure to leave a review, give me 5 stars, and of course, subscribe. Also, follow God Built This Podcast on Instagram at God Built This Pod. God bless.